J.A. LaRock, Women of Action Figure channel. Thank you for watching me. You know, I'm trying to take everyone on a journey of me collecting all these awesome female action figures, and I have a lot, and I'm really happy to do this one today because honestly, Psylocke is kind of hard to find because it can be pretty expensive, and the fact that I was able to get this one at a good price, because I'm also the percent off collector. You can see my other YouTube channel, percent off collector, here on YouTube, but my thing is trying to find deals, and I'm really happy to have her as part of my collection, especially when I tell you the price. But the question is, will you be happy to have her as part of yours? Let's find out. Let's check them out. Alright, so we have the Mojo series from Marvel Legends, and we have Psylocke, and I remember seeing Psylocke just early on in the 90s when I was reading Marvel comics, X-Men comics, and I just thought like her powers were cool, and especially like you hear like her backstory, all the stuff she went through, and it was like, wow. And I remember when I first started getting into just collecting generally, I remember thinking to myself, I wanted to get a Psylocke figure, and this was like during COVID, so like 2020. And when I was looking for Psylocke, I couldn't find a good price. And as I said, since I'm the percent off collector as well, I'm looking for a discount, you know? I'm not looking to pay like 40, 50 bucks, even if it's a figure I like. I mean, maybe I'll do something like that for some super special figure or something, I don't know. But for the most part of the thing for me is finding the deals. So I got this as a great deal that I'll talk about shortly. But one of the things I do like about older toys is just not only the ability to learn things, because I see all types of figures I never knew they even made a figure for, but also all the accessories that things came with. And you know, this isn't super old. Let me see, what was the exact date? I know I saw this before. Oh, 2006. Okay, so you can see down here 2006. So it's still, that's a while. I mean, man, I feel so old. 2006, it's like you think it's not that, but I mean, it's about to be 2025, so there you go. But I mean, I love these type of figures because you started to see more articulation, and you see it's still from the Toy Biz label, but it still had a lot of those accessories. And usually back in the day, you would get a lot of more accessories because the figure itself had less to it overall. So this to me almost feels like a mix between the two, and I really like how it has the power and all that. I remember looking on I forgot what the exact Marvel site was, but I remember like when I was at work doing customer service, and I would just spend time on that Marvel page where you could read the bios of a whole bunch of Marvel characters, and they would have this bar that would show you like what they could do. So you can see like for her, everything seems kind of like normal except the fighting skills. I thought that because of her psychic power and a psychic blade, energy projection would be higher, but maybe energy projection means actually shooting out and not a psychic blade. I'm not sure about that. If someone knows in the comments, educate me. I got no problem with that because I'm learning, and that's part of the cool stuff. So, you know, I love how it gives you a little backstory on the character, and we all know that there's all types of additions and stuff made on the character throughout the years, but I like that, you know, they have the Build-A-Figure Mojo. I mean, I doubt I'm going to be collecting this line, even though I did see, I think I actually have 2 more from this line, 2 other female characters. So stay tuned to this channel, hit that notification bell, because I probably have like 100 plus figures in the backlog to do video for, all women. So if you want to just learn all these figures, maybe you're learning for the first time like some of mine are, and you say, hey, you know what, maybe I'm going to try and find this character and add it to my collection. So without further ado, let's get this open, because that's what I do. I open it up. And I also like the fact that it comes with a comic book. I don't collect comic books anymore, but I like the fact that they have one. I don't like the fact of this plastic, because this is that back in the day, and it's like I almost want to movie magic it, but I kind of want to show just like how painful it can be. It's not as painful with the scissors, but I mean, this was the stuff like back in the day. If you were a kid and you were just dying to get this open, and you just start pulling at it, and then you realize that you would need to be an X-Men to open this with your bare hands. I don't know, maybe some of you guys were like super strong kids and you were able to open this up without that, but I wasn't, and I'm still not. So once you get it going though, you're able to pop it out. So, and I also wanted to make sure I didn't damage the comic, because that's sweet. Oh my goodness, maybe I'll just slide this out first. Yeah, I'll just do it like that, and then I'll slide the rest of it out. So that wasn't too bad. Alright, so we have that. We have the figure. We have the comic. And I have to say, I also appreciate the fact that the comic comes in a little bag. I remember when I first got into comics, my friend, the first thing they're like, listen, when you buy a comic, always bring an extra 15 cents. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you gotta get the plastic and the board. And I'm like, what? And it's like, oh, you gotta get the plastics. Now this doesn't have the board, but it has the plastic. So let's raise this up so we can see the comic. I do like the fact that it says like not for resale, so it has more special to it. But I mean, you can see the Uncanny X-Men. Let me take it out, because like I said, I'm not worried about any collecting part of the comic itself. I'm not, like I said, this is for my collection. I'm not worried if it gets a little scratch or whatever, but I mean, that's just nice to have it. I mean, and even just like, you know, since this came from back then, you're able to see just different stuff in it, including the advertisement. So that's cool. That's pretty awesome. I mean, to get a comic like that in here, that's pretty sweet. So just seeing if there was anything else on here about the figure, but that's cool. So let's see the figure itself and the build-a-piece. Ooh, man, that's some mild plastic right there. Alright, so basically those are the pieces that comes with. So this is the Mojo Build-A-Figure piece. So that's cool. I mean, it's the base. And oh yeah, they also had the instructions here as well. And I guess this is more about how to build the... Oh, so that's what this is for. So this is for the diorama piece that goes with it. So this is basically just to know how to put this together once you get it, which I don't, so. So here's the figure itself. And so in this case, no other accessories. So I could understand maybe some people could have a problem with that. I mean, I really don't. I guess in this case, the comic book and the Build-A-Figure, at least for the line back then, that's what you got. I'm really surprised as far as articulation, considering like how, you know, the ages and, you know, when this came out. It feels really nice. So I mean, she already came posed, so that was kind of cool. So let's see. Let's you know, we're gonna start off different. We're gonna put her on the turntable first, and then we'll go through the different points of articulation. And I'm curious to see how she stands up on the turntable. Okay, so man, I swear the way they did like the waist and the back area, I don't know, it kind of looks kind of strange, like, because, you know, she's wearing like a bikini-esque thing, but it's just interesting because since it's like paint and all that, you see how that sticks out? I mean, wow. It's just like, look, I try not to be like that, but because of the way it's sculpted like that, like the way it sticks out, it just, and then the color, like, I don't know if you can really pick that up, but the color is actually a little bit different. So it looks even worse. Like, it almost is like those old copper tan commercials where it's like, oh, you're not getting the suntan here. And it's like, I don't know if for mine, is there an issue with the paint? People who have this, let me know, because you can see here, it's like dark in certain areas. It almost looks like someone painted it and there's like an issue or a mistake. So I don't know if that's the case or if that's how it's supposed to be. I do like the accents in the hair. That's really nice, those purple accents. I think that's sweet. Oh, look at that. The camera, the camera wants what the camera wants. You can even see like on the hands. The face is actually nice. It's kind of interesting. Kind of almost has like a Jennifer Gardner type of face. That's interesting. But you see here, like even on the chest, like it's like that, like a black paint thing right there. So that's interesting. So I don't know. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it, but I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, or do I have something strange going on here? So let me know in the comments if I do, because I'm actually curious. So as we look at it, let's also go through articulation, which I said is really good on this model. I mean, you have pretty good movement as far as the feet. You don't have that ball, because you can see like how it's done here. So it's really just like this, but I mean, you have really good motion with the feet, and her being like a ninja and stuff, that's good with kicking, and especially being able to turn at the calf. So again, you get a lot of motion that you can do with poses where it's like you can do more than if you didn't have that. And then the double joint, and it's like this one, I've had like some of the other newer figures where it does feel more stiff, but this doesn't feel that bad. I don't know if just the way the design, that's, I guess, older design. I'm still learning kind of like the history and like how the engineering goes on it and the differences. It looks like there's like another little paint thing there. And then here you have kind of like the ball joint, looks like, for the hip. There's no hip cut. Like some of the newer ones have like a cut here, so you could turn that, but you don't. But here it's like a rotation. Can't go like all the way out. At least it doesn't feel like it. I don't want to go too far. Just looking at the date. But I mean, considering the date that this came out, that's not bad at all as far as the motion and the double joints. I mean, that's really sweet. I mean, the fact that you can still get that kind of range of range of motion with that is nice. And then you have really good waist turn, like all the way around, and you have the ab crunch here. So you can move. It doesn't really go down much. It seems like, because like if I hold the waist, it's almost more like a rotation than a down or back motion, like if you see here from the side. But still, I mean, again, it gives you a lot more that you can do, like fighting poses. And I really like the way her sash or belt, how that looks. And then with the hands, looks like you can't rotate the actual hand because it's on this here. So you get that movement, but then like, is it the wrist? No, so it's really above the wrist. So that's interesting, because it's not the wrist exactly. It's kind of like at the, I guess, forearm. Is that correct? Do I have my anatomy correct? And then of course with the double jointed on the arms, which is, again, for this is great, because it's like just being able to get closer to like the head or the neck. Like that's really the difference when you have those double joints, is to really be able to get like closer to your figure. And then of course at the bicep, you got that cut there too. And then under the arms, you have the rotation there. You can see under here, that's where you could move it. So it looks like not much though. So let me see. It does turn, so you can see when that moves, that turns, but you kind of have to play around with it, because as you turn this, like you almost have to kind of, I mean, you can grab it from there, see, and now you can turn it. So then that's how you can get in close, and then you can use the mixture of the double joint. So like, to me, that's one of the things that I kind of learned early on about how double joints work, and of like watching videos, is like when you can get the character to like touch their face with their own hand, that's pretty good articulation as far as the arms and everything is. So we're gonna put this back on the turnstile. I'm gonna tell you how much it costs and final thoughts. Right, so another thing that I personally like about collecting is, since a lot of times I will pick up loose figures and just discount things, and sometimes I'll buy bags of just swords and stuff, is being able to just have different weapons I can play around with. And that's also why I have Instagram, % off collector on Instagram, to take pictures and stuff. So The little hole in her back, it's interesting because I guess maybe because of the ab crunch, it's in the lower back. And I did have a couple of other sword sheaths that I tried to see if it would fit, but I guess the hole in the back kind of I guess the grooves inside, it doesn't fit. But I was able to get this sword, which I actually think is from one of the Spawn figures, and that fits. So I mean, obviously it doesn't match her colors or anything, but I just love the fact that I was able to put that in there. And then this weapon, I forgot where I got it from, but I was like, you know what, it fits. And that's, I guess, maybe a critique that I will have. The hands are not malleable and they're both open. So even if you had maybe some blue effects from, or I guess it would be purple or pinkish, you can't really do anything with that because her hands are open. But at least with this weapon, you know, I was able to put it into her hand, you know, somewhat. So I mean, there's just different things that you can do, especially if you have access to different weapons that you get. So this was another case where I always tell people, especially if you're looking for figures, especially like garage sales and stuff, don't be discouraged even if the place doesn't say they have toys. I mean, yes, there's been plenty of times where I've went to a garage sale and it says toys, and then it goes there and it's all baby toys. Or it says toys and it goes there and it's just, you know, stuffed animals. But I've also been to places where it didn't say toys and then it had this. This was one of such places. It actually had 3 different figures from that line, all women, which that's just rare to find 3 different female figures. And it wasn't even like a collector. It was just a person that had gotten these somewhere else and were trying to sell it. And I ended up paying probably $10. Yeah, I think about $10 each, which these I've seen for $40 or more for this version unopened on eBay and stuff like that. So again, it's not impossible. You sometimes have to just be patient, and that's the kind of great thing about my collection. It's more of a volume collection. Of course, there's some prime female figures I look for, but I also am like, wait, there's a female figure of that. How much is it? And then I'll find it later on at a good price. So I always will give that advice to anyone who wants to get into collecting. You don't have to exclusively just be buying online at your regular retails or even collector shops. There's nothing wrong with that, but there are options at garage sales, estate sales, stuff like that. Even if people are telling you that everything gets snatched up by resellers or other collectors, it's all in how you think about it. And it's sometimes it's a waiting game, and I've gotten so many great deals just by saying, you know what, this garage sale is close to a bunch of others, let me hit all of them regardless of what they say they have for sale. So that's my tip as far as finding action figures and getting a good price. So overall, even with the little things here, I like it. I have to assume like the little black accents and stuff with the paint has to be part of the design. I really didn't look up other version of this yet. I mean, like I looked at it barely just to see what it was going for, but I didn't examine if it had the other paint issues. But that is something I'm going to check out. But that doesn't really bother me at all. I like it. I think it's a great addition to my collection, and I have to say that I give it the thumbs up, and I believe it would be a great addition to yours. Thanks so much for watching, and we really need your help to grow this channel. We want to spread these awesome women of action figures all around YouTube, and you know how the algorithm is. So you gotta do the things that everybody asks for, but we really need it, and we need to have those subs, we need to have those likes, and hit that notification button, because that's the only thing that lets YouTube know that this content is worth it. But I do either way appreciate you for watching, and also those comments are good too. And what I want to ask is that if you know of a woman action figure, a female action figure that I should be looking at, whether I can find it cheap or otherwise, cheaper the better, because I'm still the % off collector. Let me know in the comments, and I will try my best to add that to the collection and add another video. But until next time, thanks a lot.